Good evening, everyone. We'll call the meeting. Kathy Rockwell is going to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mayor Rowe.
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Miller.
Present.
Councilman Racy.
Here.
Councilman Porter.
Present.
Councilman Gabriel did call and let us know that he was not going to be able to make it. Councilman Webster.
Here.
And Councilman Dowd.
Here.
You do have a quorum. Would you like to pass a resolution excusing Mr. Gabriel?
I will move to request that we excuse Councilman Gabriel at this time.
Support.
It's been moved by Mayor Pro Tem Miller, supported by Councilman Webster, to excuse Councilman Gabriel. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
And item 1 is to approve the agenda.
Move approval.
Support.
It's been moved by Councilman Webster, supported by Councilman Racy. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Item 2 are city council minutes. Item 2A are the meeting minutes of the special meeting from June 19th.
Move approval.
Support.
It's been moved by Councilman Webster, supported by Councilman Porter. Any corrections or changes? I'm sorry?
Please read those minutes. You went into special session and you adjourned at 7:10, and then according to the documents, you then had the regular city meeting at 8 o'clock. So I would like to know how you could still be in closed session with that adjournment and then go into regular session. There's a lapse of 10 minutes.
After the closed session?
Yes, you came out of closed session at 8:10.
Mm-hmm.
And you have on the documents that you started the city council meeting at 8 o'clock.
The open session was reconvened at 8:08.
And then the next agenda item is I state that Mayor Rowe called the meeting to order at 8:10. So the minutes are correct.
Yeah. Okay. Again, the motion was made by Councilman Webster, supported by Councilman Porter. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Item 2B are the regular meeting minutes of June 19th.
Move approval.
Support.
It's moved by Councilman Webster, supported by Councilman Racy. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
The next item is item 2C. This is the regular meeting minutes of July 3rd. These are a placeholder meeting so that we keep the count accruing as the meetings go forward.
Okay.
Move approval.
Support.
It's been moved by Councilman Webster, supported by Councilman Porter. Any questions or corrections? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Item 3 is requests. Item 3A is a request from the Knights of Columbus Notre Dame Council to use the city property on the west side of Wayne Road between Ash and Elm for the second annual Fall Flea Market on October 13th, 2018.
Move approval.
Support.
It's been moved by Councilman Racy, supported by Councilman Webster. Any questions? Okay. And they'll have their liability coverage, of course. Right. Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Is item 4, business licenses and permits. Item 4A is to approve a 2018-2019 materials recovery license at Weiser Recycling at 35900 Clinton.
Move approval.
Support.
It's been moved by Councilman Racy, supported by Councilman Webster. Any discussion or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
next item is item 5, ordinances and amendments. Item 5A is the second reading and adoption of ordinance 2018-05, amendments to chapter 1200, which is the planning and zoning section regarding medical marijuana facilities.
Are there any questions or concerns? Motion, please.
Move to approve.
Support.
Been moved by Mayor Pro Tem Miller, supported by Councilman Porter. This is just bringing our zoning ordinance in sync with our planning documents right now. We were instructed that we had to do this to update and make everything kosher. So,
I got a question.
yes.
Have we had anybody come in to get permits at this point, or where are we at within that process? I'm not sure if it's
Medical marijuana?
yeah.
So our application, we published a notice for the initial rounds of application. We had a deadline of July 9th, and those applications have been received, and we're in the process of going through the first round of applications that were received. And that was just open. They were due July 9th. We did not open any of them or examine them prior to July 9th. So we're just now, really this is the first business day after the deadline, or yesterday. Today would have been.
So we can have something in our packet Friday just to know where we're at.
Probably an update.
I would think so.
Mayor O?
Yes.
Mayor, you might know how many have applied?
It's public knowledge.
Yeah, it's public knowledge. There's three
bid.
total, I believe, that have applied thus far.
Okay. Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
The next item is item 6, communications and reports. Item 6A is from a memo from the police chief regarding a donation in the memory of retired Lieutenant Stanley Sack.
Good evening, Mayor, members of City Council.
Hello, Chief.
Recently, I'm sure you're all aware that our retired Lieutenant Stan Sack had passed away on June 15th. His wife Sylvia was kind enough to, instead of in lieu of flowers, to take donations for the library and the police department. We did receive a $500 donation from Sylvia that will be put into our donation fund to be used to purchase equipment. I really would like to take this time to thank the Sylvia and the Stack family for thinking of us and donating that money to the department to be used for equipment.
Okay.
Thank you.
Receive and file. Thank you, Chief.
The next item is item 6B. This is a memo from the police chief and a thank you card from OPEN, which is the Michigan Opioid Prescription Engagement Network, concerning the Take Back Day.
Would you read the thank you note, please?
Dear Chief Masiak, on behalf of the Michigan Opioid Prescribing Engagement Network, OPEN, we would like to thank you for partnering with us and hosting a medication take-back event in your community. As a result of our collective efforts, over a ton of unused medications and approximately 54,000 opioid pills were removed from communities around Michigan. By safely removing these medications, we were not only able to decrease the risk of potential diversion, but also educate the public about the safe drug storage and disposal. Our team has planned another medication take-back event for this coming fall, and we will be contacting your organization in the hopes that you will join us again to help better your Michigan community. With the support of organizations like yours, we will truly be able to make a difference. Thank you again for your contribution toward the Spring's Medication Take-Back event. Should you have any additional questions or thoughts, please feel free to contact us, and they look forward to collaborating with us in the future. And this is signed from the Michigan Open team, and then also all of the staff over at Beaumont Annapolis Wayne Hospital too. So.
Receive and file.
And then item 6C is the discussion regarding the Parks and Trails Committee, and the item was, I believe, at your places.
Does everybody have the information in front of them?
That's 6C.
It separate item at your place.
Okay, it's probably right here then.
If not, I can make a copy for you.
All right, thank you.
This is the list. We received 9 applications for the Parks and Trails Committee. The committee, we have the ordinance that we passed stipulates that we will have 7 participants on this committee. So we have 9 applicants. None of them can be elected officials, and we do have one candidate who is a potential, he's running for council, so I feel that we should not include him in our selection process because of the fact that he could be a councilman, and then we would have to remove him from there as a community member. What's the wish of council on this? How do you wish to proceed?
Mayor Rowe?
Yes.
I may speak on this. Quite frankly, at this time, I think it's fantastic that we have 9 individuals. I think that, you know, more individuals involved in this is even more better, even more significant, because this is really a huge endeavor and a very important endeavor for this community. And if that such time does occur, whereas he does become an elected councilman, then we can address that situation, that issue at that time, and he would be voluntarily removed, and we can go ahead and find a replacement for him. And it's just my suggestion, but you know, certainly all hands on deck on this endeavor. I think this is just a really huge, significant project for this community that I applaud all of them for being stepping up forward to join in this.
Okay. Does anyone else have any questions? Yes.
So Mayor Pro Tem is suggesting we appoint all 9? Is that your suggestion?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Okay, we would have to have a motion first.
We would have to change the original count of 7 to 9.
9. Yeah, we have, so you'd have to have a motion if you wish to go that way. And it's not on the agenda as such as a voting item, so I would think we would have to put it on the next week's council meeting, or?
I think it could be all part, 2 separate motions but addressed now. I don't see an issue with that.
Okay.
As long as you have a majority vote to approve it,
Okay.
then arguably there's the majority vote to amend the agenda in accordance with the fact that it could be voted on now.
Okay.
And Mayor Rowe,
Yes.
and you know, we can be flexible with this. Minimum of 7, maximum of 9. Okay, this is a minimum of a 10-year endeavor for this community, and you know, allowing that flexibility and allowing involvement with this whole project is all a good thing, and we can allow that flexibility.
Okay. All right.
Mayor, I got some
Yes.
questions.
Yes.
So, I'm just not clear on this, and I have nothing against the person that's on here. My question is when are you able to serve on a committee if you're running for council? I know when I was on the Wheelfest committee, I had to step down when I was running, and I was not allowed to be on it. And then after, if I would have lost, then I could have been put back or something, I guess. Are we allowed to even appoint anybody in that period of time, or is that just a thing that we just do? I'm not
not
sure.
aware of anything immediately that prevents it while they're running, but obviously I could look into that, you know, and have an answer for council.
Yeah.
The Wheelfest was a long time ago, you know, to talk about the administration and who was giving the opinion back then.
Yeah.
That was, I don't even want to guess how long ago
And I know
that was.
that's planning commission, I mean, I know that other people have had to step down.
Yes.
Although planning commission is again an appointment process, so I don't.
So was the wheel.
Yeah, I'm not aware of anything to say while you're running and a candidate you have to step down, because you don't have the inherent authority to vote or make decisions or any of that while you're a candidate.
Right.
As opposed to when you take the office, then there becomes issues with regard to conflicts and whether or not you're a governing body over a commission that is subject to your regulations or decisions. But as a candidate, you yourself have no control over any decision-making process. That's my initial thought, but I never give, you know, opinions firmly in writing before I am able to look into the matter. So I'd be happy to do so prior to the next. I know we're just discussing the process now of
Right,
appointing
yeah.
and not actually appointing. So before the appointment, I would be happy
I'm
to
just,
have you.
I'm just, you know, just asking the question because I know that it's happened in the past and I'm not sure why.
Sure.
Okay. All right. Any other questions? One moment, please. We're still discussing up here. Yes. Any other questions or concerns?
But, Mayor Roll, and just to parallel with that is with Councilman Dowd, or any appointments that were involved in any committees or commissions, and at which time we went ahead and addressed it. He voluntarily stepped down, and we can, and that same sort of behavior can be applied to this situation if it comes to fruition.
Okay. Okay.
Mayor,
Yes.
I'm not dissenting from that. I don't care one way or the other, but I was on the planning commission, and as soon as I was notified and turned in my petition, I was asked to step down immediately.
Right.
And so
Yeah.
I was only running for council when I was asked to
Yeah, I had you
cease
too.
being on the planning commission. So, you know, what's fair for one's fair for all, and
Right.
I have nothing against
Right.
the
Okay. Well
candidate.
then.
I'm all for it. I don't see a problem as a city attorney as long as you're just running for a position. But if we do it in this case, then we need to continue that on.
Right. So.
And I think to get a firm answer so that
Right.
we're all on the same page.
Right.
Yes.
So
I
that it
agree.
is consistently applied.
Yes.
I agree. So.
In the past, that was the practice.
Right.
And what was carried forward. What was the standing for the practice? I'm not sure.
Yes,
So
yes.
if you're reading it, is it election law or something like that?
Right.
We'll have to
Okay. All right.
put
Well
our
then.
heads together to see.
We'll ask that the city attorney prepare something for the next council meeting if possible.
That's tough.
I know.
That's a
At
tough
least-
turnaround.
I know, at least by August 6th then.
Because
how's
the
that?
deadline for the next council agenda is Thursday, which is the
right.
day after tomorrow.
Okay.
So that's going to be tough.
know.
I'll try to get something via email by the
Okay.
next council meeting, so you have at least in your email inboxes.
Okay.
We're gonna get out earlier tonight.
Yeah. I'll go
She
home
doesn't-
and get right on
Yeah,
it,
right.
Councilman.
She
I'll
has
do my best.
She has a child at home. Okay, well then, should we move ahead at least with amending the ordinance to 9? Tonight
That's
or
the wish
wait?
of council.
It was a resolution, though. It was not an ordinance.
No,
Yeah,
it's okay, a resolution, okay.
And then establishing a process, if any, from this point forward with regard to the selection.
Okay,
Well, if you're doing 9, there's no need to select.
right. Okay,
I would say maybe just table it until we get a firm
Okay.
answer on
The
that.
next meeting.
okay then,
Yeah.
we can do that. So once we have a response from the city attorney, we will move forward with that. Is that agreeable to council members? Okay. Okay.
Okay, the next item then is item 7. General items for consideration.
There was a question.
I'm sorry, Mr. Osborne. What is your question? If you could come up to the microphone, please.
Sorry.
I'm glad we had 9 volunteers. It's hard to find volunteers. Can't fire them. It's nice we have them. This is not an election. We asked for volunteers for the Trails Committee.
Right.
I agree with Mr. Miller. Keep them.
Okay.
Let them step aside. On the application, we ask people, what is the condition that you have on this application form to be a volunteer? What is it that is, do you have it stated on there that you, if you hold an office, you cannot participate in cleaning up your own city parks and trails? Do you have that on your bylaws for this Parks and Trails Committee? I say we keep them all, let them politely stand down as the time comes, as Mr. Dowd did. We completely read everybody who was on these council committees, and as they came forward, they stepped down. I don't see why we're making a federal case about keeping 9 good volunteers. The more you prolong it, you'll have less.
is item 7A. This is to approve the sale of 34574 Elm Street, which is parcel number 55003-09027-003 to Shelby and Sean Seymour at 34562 Elm for $1,000.
Move to approve.
Support.
It's been moved by Mayor Pro Tem Miller, supported by Councilman Porter. Is there any discussion or questions? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
I'm going to abstain from this vote.
Okay. Thank you.
And next item is item 7B. This is to approve sending an additional candidate to the Police Academy.
Move approval.
Support.
It's been moved by Councilman Racy, supported by Mayor Pro Tem Miller, for an additional candidate to the Police Academy. Are there any questions or discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
The next item is item 7C. This is to approve a letter of understanding with the Wayne Command Officers and Patrol Officers Association.
Move approval.
Support.
It's been moved by Councilman Webster, supported by Councilman Racy. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion, I'm sorry, was there any question or discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
The next item is item 7D. This is to approve a payment to Nankin Transit Commission in the amount of $21,000 for the 2018-19 membership dues to be paid from the fiscal year 18-19 Nankin Transit budget.
Move approval.
Support.
Been moved by Councilman Racy, supported by Councilman Webster, I believe. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
The next item is item 7E. This is to approve a professional services agreement with Colliers International to sell city-owned property.
Move to approve with an explanation from our community development person on this topic.
Okay. It's been moved by Mayor Pro Tem Miller,
Support.
supported by Councilman Webster and Ms. Goins.
This is brought back before you this evening. If you remember at your last meeting, it was requested that we counter back, have the city attorney reach back out to Colliers and ask them to give us the ability to remove J.C. Park at any given time during the course of the contract. After further discussion, Councilman Racy made it very clear that he understood that it would be left as part of the contract. However, he had asked that the city administration ask any developer that came forward that was looking at doing something in that park that they would consider either keeping a park in the development or adding green space. So you are going to be asked to approve the the contract as is tonight with no amendments or no changes. It would be simply an administrative activity.
Okay. Any questions? All right. It's been moved by Mayor Pro Tem Miller, supported by Councilman Webster, to approve the contract with the approval of a professional service agreement with Colliers. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Ms. Goins.
Next item is item 8, administration reports.
Do we have any reports?
Just a few, Mayor. Thank you. This is just a reminder. I've received a lot of complaints again, and this happens every year. Pet owners in the city, please clean up after your animals. Your yards are drawing rats and other rodents when you do not clean up the animal feces, and it is bad right now. We all love our pets, but the responsibility is also to clean up after your pets. Whether you're out for a walk or whether you are in your yard, it smells. I had a dog. We cleaned it up daily. It causes a lot of problems. I don't have rats in my neighborhood because our neighbors clean up their yards. So I'm sorry to be a little harsh, but we need to keep our yards clean. It's getting out of control. The assessing hours have changed. We did post on over a month ago on cable, Facebook, and we had flyers at each of the departments. As of July 2nd, the assessing hours here at City Hall changed to Monday through Wednesday, 1 o'clock to 4:30 p.m. They were originally Tuesdays and Thursdays. But because we are closed on Fridays, the assessing team felt it was a good idea not to keep that much of a gap between the time frames, so they moved it to Mondays. So Monday through Wednesday from 1 o'clock to 4:30, and assessing is located in the finance department. The groundbreaking today at All Saints, I just have to say it was a little hot today, but we did have another groundbreaking today at the former Frank's property, All Saints Inc. It was a lot of fun, so it was nice to see those who could make it there today. Planet Fitness is open. I actually went and took pictures. I'm really excited. I've heard a lot of great things about it, so if you get a chance, check it out. Lori's working on getting an official ribbon cutting for the council set up, but that has to be done through corporate, so it takes a little bit of time. And we had a question meeting or two ago, maybe it was the last meeting, about the sound in the council chambers here. Jeff has done an assessment and has put out for bid to try to figure out how we can improve the system here. So we will be sharing those bids with you very soon. We did kind of go through a list of a bunch of different things and a bunch of items where council can kind of choose, but I think the biggest issue right now that Jeff wants to concentrate on is our system, being able to hear in the audience. Obviously, we don't have a lot of issues with audio on television from these microphones, but it's very difficult if your voice doesn't carry to hear it out in the audience. So we are working on that, so we'll have some information to all of you soon with some bids and get your feedback on what you'd like to see as far as improvements. So that's my report for the evening. Thank you, Council.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Okay, the next item are citizens' comments or requests on items not on the agenda. Citizens are to limit their comments or requests to 3 minutes. The City Council asks that if you do have a question or concern, to bring it to the attention of the appropriate department whenever possible. If you feel that the matter has not been resolved satisfactorily, you are encouraged to bring it to the attention of the city manager, and if still not resolved satisfactorily, to the mayor and the city council. The mayor, the city council, and the department heads may not respond to the questions at the meeting, but will respond by the next council meeting or as soon as possible once they've looked into the matter.
Okay, thank you. Yes, Mr. Amos.
Good evening, Mayor, Council.
Good evening.
My name is Vern Amos. I live on Stellwagen here in Wayne. The city manager reminded me by mentioning Planet Fitness. It is a reminder to me that if y'all are not aware of it, that the air conditioning system at Hype sounds like it's ready to blow up and walk down Annapolis Road by itself. Apparently it's not being maintained, or it needs to be replaced. I'm not a professional, but in driving by on my new bike that I purchased from Wayne Bike Shop, it is quite loud in the community. My major purpose for coming up here tonight is I'd like to know more information concerning these special meetings. I'd like to know, you've hired an attorney's firm to look into a hostile work environment here at the City Hall. It was called that by our city attorney, and it was called an investigation. I'd like to know how much money has been expended so far, and if there's a close date. And if so, I'd like to see the results of this investigation made public, because in my opinion, if you can't take the heat, get out of the kitchen. And you're going to have that kind of situation no matter who the employee is. When you bring in new management, certainly there's going, in times there's going to be hurt feelings, because our city's going through major changes. We've made major cuts in programs. So perhaps maybe, because the citizens voted the SMORZA thing down, that's creating some of that friction. But if you can't handle it, it's time to move on. And I concur with Lisa on the neighborhood cleanup. We definitely all need to take into concern our own personal properties and businesses about cleaning up our sites. The rats are running rampant in the city. I was personally sitting with my wife on my deck and witnessed rats running down the side fence in my backyard the other night, and I'm sick of it. I've set traps, I've caught rats in the traps, I've put out poison in such a way that, regular cats and dogs can't get at it, but I've warned my neighbors that I've done so that their pets if they see a dead rat in their yard, don't let your pet eat it because it's probably dead because it ate some of my poison. And I don't want to see your pet harmed in any way. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Yes.
Mayor Rowe, Mayor Pro Tem Miller, City Council people. My name is Lois Van Stipdonk. I live at 3088 Rivers Edge Drive, and I am here tonight speaking in support of the millage proposal for the Wayne Library, which will be on the August 7th ballot. Excuse me. The library is, oh, excuse me.
Need some water?
I think I do.
Okay, a moment.
Let me try though. The library is seeking one additional mill with which to operate the library. The library is currently operating on one mill, which can be levied annually by the City Council. When the library opened in 1996, the one mill was sufficient to operate the library. With the collapse of the housing market in 2008 or so, the mill dropped significantly in value. Thank you so much. Excuse me. And the library is now limping along at about a 40% of what its original budget was. And that was not poor planning. At the time that the library was built, it was more than sufficient to run the library, and it just is that we just don't have the money anymore for it. The library was built and furnished with no debt. There are no bonds, and no money comes from the city's general fund to support the library. This is the first time that the library has sought additional funding. The laws governing libraries stipulates that this library funding has to be capped at a maximum of 2 mills, so we won't be back next year asking for more money. At the average taxable value of a home in Wayne at $34,000, the additional mill would amount to about $2.83 a month per household. I think you get a lot of bang for your buck for $2.83. And the library desperately needs additional funds. The budget has been decreased so much over the last several years that there is no money for building maintenance and repairs, and there's no book budget to buy materials. While we were once open 54 hours a week, the library hours are now down to 31 hours. The building is 22 years old. The roof has a life expectancy of 20 years, and we're already 2 years past that, and that roof is leaking badly, and it's going to need to be replaced, and there is no money for it. The library needs to purchase books and other materials. With the new state mandates for children to read by the 3rd grade, libraries are front line with literacy for children and families. People who do not have access to the internet use the library, computers for job searches. Free Wi-Fi is available in the library. E-books and downloadable audiobooks are available. We provide a lot of services to the people in the community, and we would like to continue doing that. We need to keep our library operational, functional, and relevant, and we need that roof to be up there and standing so that we can keep us going. So I'm thanking you all for your support in advance, and I'm asking that you consider voting to restore and to maintain our library. Thank you. Oh, sorry.
Sure.
Thank you.
Almost going to get told you were past your minute.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council. I'm Ann Zimmerman. I live on Courier Street in Wayne, and I'm with the Wayne Historical Society, and I want to invite everybody and let everybody know that Saturday during Downtown Days, Tyler Mall and his volunteers and the Historical Society members are going to be keeping the museum open. We have a lot of things planned that day from 10 to 5. We're going to have vendors selling on the grounds of the Congregational Church on their parking lot. We're going to have children's activities. Bernadette and Alfred Brock are going to have painting with the Wayne Rocks program. We're going to have music with the Harmony Town Barbershop Quartet. And the Early Engine Club of Dearborn are going to have a few of their hit-and-miss gas early antique engines on display and running, and a few older cars too. And the museum will be open for tours, and we'll have our gift shop open. So please come down. We have vendors. I'm going to just announce some of them. It Works, Scentsy, Lip Sense, Lily Cami Boutique, Magneto, Tupperware, Usborne Books, Paparazzi, Color Street, 31, Life Expression, Legging Army, Decor and Coasters by Erica, Perfectly Posh, Shackley, Damsel in Defense, and we're going to have chair massage, Reiki healing, tarot card reading, LuLaRoe, Pure Romance, and we have a new, I think it's Ruby Ribbons. So we have plenty to do that day. We hope to have some food trucks, so please join us. That'll be Saturday, this Saturday. And I also want to let everybody know that we do have a program at the museum with the Historical Society on Thursday this week. And the topic will be the Wayne Westland Civic Theater. And Bob Weibel, who was a member for years, will be talking about this group that was between the 1950s and 1980s. So if you know anybody who participated in the group, in the live, this was a live theater group, please let them know. Please join us. It should be interesting. He'll have pictures, and he loves to talk about the theater. So I thank you very much, and we have a new board, and so please come down to that meeting and program and meet us, and we'll have a great time.
And what time is that at again?
The program starts at 7, and it's at the museum. Okay. So that'll be Thursday this week. Okay. And our new Vice President, Nicole Conklin, is on the agenda next Tuesday to talk about the new display they're having at the museum with Tyler. They're working on St. Mary's School, so she'll be here talking about that. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yes. Oh.
Hi, Eric Clearman from Winifred. I just wanted to speak to the standard about running for council and other positions. When we had the interim election recently, Kevin Dow wasn't asked to step down before running for that, nor do I think he should have been. I like that he didn't have to step down until after he was elected, and that makes more sense to me. If that's going to be a standard, I'm not sure why we would go back to the other standard, but I think everybody who's running right now had the opportunity to run for to throw their name in as a volunteer for the Parks Commission. Recently we had the bench fix-up project that was arranged by Brian Wanchu. He's running for councilman this fall too. Nobody stopped him from doing that. Nobody stopped me from volunteering with him. Councilman Racer was there and helped out too. I don't really see how they conflict, but sorry if it's a problem. And the other question I wanted to ask was Cadillac Motel. I heard there was going to be a court case on that after the last council meeting. Just wonder how that went. I guess I have to direct that through the mayor. Okay. So that's it. Thank you.
You want me to respond now?
Yeah, if you would. The council would like to know.
Yeah, I have no problem providing an update. So a citation was issued. The individual failed to appear at court. However, 2 individuals did appear that are associated with an entity who claimed ownership of the Cadillac Motel. So we are now in the process of amending the ticket to make sure it includes the new owner, which was not the individual who came to the city and obtained site plan approval, according to what I've been informed. The new owner who did come to court, who was not issued a citation, so keep in mind they came to court without having been given a ticket, did show up and said that they are in the process of obtaining bids for demolition. Whether or not that's true or not, I'll wait to see at the next court date. I've asked them to bring proof of that to the next court date, that they are in the process of obtaining bids for demolition. And at the next court date, we will move to amend to add the new alleged owner of the property. And if the old owner does not appear at court, then we will be requesting that a bench warrant be issued for their arrest for failure to appear.
Okay. Thank you very much. Okay. Sorry about that.
And the next court date, I believe, is the 19th of July, I believe.
Thank you. Sorry about that.
It's all right. Jeff Wild, Newburgh. First, I want to welcome Kevin. I haven't been here in a while. It was good to see that empty seat, but you look good filling it. Congratulations. I think we can all agree that we're seeing some positive stuff going on in Wayne. Again, we got site plans for some new developments going on, and it's good to see. This comes in spite of many of you sitting up there telling us 2 years ago, 3 years ago, that if we didn't support a business as usual tax increase, that our property values would fall and that people would die in the streets because we couldn't respond to life-threatening stuff. And it's proven time and time again that business as usual just keeps digging us further into the hole, okay? In the last 3 years, this council specifically, with some new faces, has had to make some hard decisions and upset the business as usual mentality. And we're seeing the results of it now. So to continue to go after the people for tax and spend policy to keep business going as it was in the past, just shows that, what does it get us? We're going to get a new forever tax with the library. Is there a sunset on it? It's not anything against the library, it's just that business has to evolve. 5 years ago, if someone told you that the largest cab company in the world wouldn't own a single cab, we'd say they were crazy. 4 years ago, if we said the largest video entertainment business in the world didn't own any of its own content, we would say we're crazy. But these are new ideas. It was forward thinking, and it explodes. And business as usual just gets us what we've gotten at this point. So after the last few months, my daughter and I have been riding our bikes through the neighborhood, thanks to Wayne Bike Shop, and we see the people. We see the people out in the street, on their porches. We see the conditions of their homes, and the business side of Wayne is improving, but the economic side and the people's incomes have not improved, okay? Wages are still stagnant for people in Wayne. There's not this growth to support these new taxes year after year after year. The county came after us last year for some school tax to funnel money from the suburbs to the schools of Detroit. We're forced paying that. This year, Wayne Westland School Board is coming after us for another millage. There's no doubt that you guys will be coming after us for another police millage in the future. Just when does it end? We can't keep doing this business as usual mentality, and by forcing you guys to not do it, we're actually seeing growth. Thank you.
Anyone else? Yes.
Good afternoon. Evening, Osborne.
Good evening.
This is about a recent incident that I had here last week here at City Hall. As in years past, I came to review I believe the document is called the Real Estate Property Transfer Affidavit. It is a State of Michigan Department of Treasury form. It states that right up on the top left corner, and it has a control number. I think it's 415, whatever. Anyway, and it says that document is supposed to be available for open view for 49 days. Now, when I came to ask for that document where I had gone 3 years past, I go to the city clerk. They direct me with a different number or name for it. So I go to the real estate person, and she is the contract lady that does our assessing. She knows nothing about it. She's just a quickie person and really hands-on. We don't do it that way. So we have a finance person who's in charge. I think her name is Miss Crystal. And she came out. They knew that I wanted to review something. The lady told me, I can't give you anything unless you give me the exact parcel number of the property that you want to look at. It's probably about 8 digits or 12. I didn't have that. I was just coming to review what was there in the past for stipulated. It says so also on that document that it says this is not a document that's confidential. It says it's an open document to the public for their review. then you can file it. Well, the lady from the Treasury Department was kind enough, I didn't ask for it, she brought me out probably 6 or 8 pages stapled together and said, here's your FOIA request. You'll have to FOIA it, and then we'll give that to Miss Carrie Venus, and then she'll decide whether you can get it and how much it will cost. The word FOIA, Freedom of Information Act, here in the city of Wayne, it is getting really bad. Everywhere you turn, it's, we can't give it, but here's a FOIA. Here's a FOIA. So I would like to know what happened to your open system that we used to have, and now you're telling people under the Freedom of Information Act that you do not display them or allow them there. You mandate that people fill out.
This is the 3-minute mark.
3 minutes are up, sir?
Yes, they are. Thank you.
You're late.
Question? Yes. Anyone else? Oh, Kathy.
Kathy Rockwell. I was going down Michigan Avenue, I think I spent a week and a half ago, and I was really excited about seeing the bulldozer and front end loader for this man that's going to put the storage unit in. And we sold that to him for $1, and there doesn't seem to be any progress going on. I was wondering what has happened with that property.
We can have that put on the next council agenda.
Okay.
Ms. Goen is
Yeah, I appreciate it, because, you know, he was so excited about getting started, him and his son, and I was excited, and nothing's happened, so I was just wondering what's going on. Thank you.
Right. Can you let her know? Okay. Anyone else? No? Okay. Okay. All right, next item.
The next item is item 9, items for the next agenda.
No items. We'll move along then.
Then item 10 is the consent calendar. There are 3 items before you.
Wish of council.
Receive the file.
And moved by Mayor Pro Tem Miller. Is there support?
Support.
Supported by Councilman Porter. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries. And we left off comments from the council.
Oh, on the agenda.
But ran out of paper. We're saving paper. Okay. This evening we'll start with Councilman Dowd. Do we have anything?
Just wanted to say thank you to both Mr. Ed Queen and Mr. Biden. They made time last week in lieu of the holiday to meet with me and gave me great insight with a lot of passion, a lot of information, and a lot of professionalism on what's going on in the departments. I really had a lot of fun looking at the historical side of things from the building ordinance department itself, and how the city has developed, yet it has stayed the same a lot in the same way. Being someone who's been in this city in and out of this city since I was a teenager, I think I know every inch of it, but going and looking at the maps was a treat, certainly a treat for me. So thank you for making time, Ms. Nosserini, for me to meet with all of your department heads. I feel very confident that I know what's going on, and I certainly hope they know me a little bit better too going forward. That's all.
Thank you. And Councilman Porter?
Thank you, Mayor. I want to say congratulations to the All Saints on their groundbreaking today and for their future new building. I think it's going to be a beautiful building, and I look forward to it. I was reading Facebook right before I come in, and I'm going to give a shout out to the 14 and under Pony League team from Wayne that it's won its first 2 games in the upper bracket playoffs. So if you don't have anything to do tomorrow night, about 6:30, Allen Park, Cunningham Field, there's next game. So mark it down and go see some baseball, some good baseball. You won't even have to pay.
Good.
That's all.
Okay. Councilman Webster?
Thank you, Mayor. So there was a concern raised a couple weeks ago in regards to the condition of the animal shelter here in the city. And our city manager actually started a fundraiser, which has now raised over $2,000 to help improve the conditions of it. So if anybody's interested in donating, the fundraiser is open till July 20th. You can either donate online, or you can come up here to City Hall and donate either cash or check written to the City of Wayne. So it's a good thing. Definitely, they do need other things: beds, bowls, food, lots of different things for the animals. So if you have the ability to donate, please do. And the second thing I want to touch on is, I'm sure many of you are aware there was an accident over on Wayne Road in Michigan Ave the other day, which resulted in a fatality. And keeping that in mind with downtown days coming up, there's going to be a lot of pedestrians. And I just want everybody to kind of be on the lookout, not be in a rush. I know there's a lot of things to do and everyone's going to want to touch everything, but really be on the lookout for everyone, be cognizant of who's walking around and what they're doing, and just don't be in a rush to get anywhere. I would like everyone to get home safe and enjoy this weekend. That's it.
Thank you. Councilman Racy.
Thank you, Mayor. Couple things. Want to congratulate the Saints Incorporated too on their groundbreakings. Mr. Kennedy and his family, it's been a long time for them to get that going, and they were very appreciative of our economic development person, and said how much she has helped them along the way, and actually helped get them to see that they could do things that they never dreamed that they would do. I mean, it pushed them to actually accomplish their dreams. So that's pretty exciting. They said that they're hoping to be open December, January into their site, which is exciting to have that happen. I had through one of my Facebook pages, I had a message from Diane Zell that I thought was meaningful. Her husband was one of the people that perished in the Frank's Furniture site, and she just had left a little message, and I was just kind of surprised by it, but I thought it was really nice for her to do that. She said, "I'd like to thank the City of Wayne for putting something meaningful on this site. It's hard for me to see anything go there, but I'm thankful it will be a place of help and healing. Miss James Zell." And I really appreciated that note from her. And then I also wanted to mention Downtown Days. It's going to be a great weekend. Thursday, Friday, Saturday. We are going to have a bus system that is going to be going from Nakin Transit, and that'll be downtown, so you can get from one place to another. And the map is in the local newspaper that you can find that, and there'll be spots where you can get onto the bus and be able to get around downtown very easily, and not have to worry about driving everywhere. I also wanted to mention there's Helium and the Knights of Columbus, Northside's 25-cent hot dogs as normal things on Michigan Avenue. On Saturday, the bike club is going to have a big event down at the bike shop, and there's going to be all sorts of custom bicycles in town on top of all the cars and what have you. Definitely good things to see. Oh, McDonald's is going to have a special McDonald's car over there, which is kind of cool. But there'll be lots of things to see, and don't forget the concert that the Rotary's putting on Friday night with Steve King and the Diddleys. That's going to be a great time. And then after that, the Concerts in the Park series starts the Wednesday after that, and goes to the end of August. And there's going to be postcards that'll be around town in the next couple days that you'll be able to find that lineup, and it's already out online in other places. But it's going to be a great couple months of activities for our citizens and for bringing people into our city. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman, Mayor Pro Tem Miller.
Thank you. Yep, this weekend we have over 80+ activities and events going on. It's the biggest time of the year for our city, and I know we've had a lot of very dedicated volunteers in organizing this throughout the year in order to make this happen. I can't stress enough, like all of us have, about us keeping it a safe environment for all, asking for designated drivers or using the shuttle system as well. Also, I want to point out it is going to be a hot weekend, so be courteous to our visitors that are coming to our community. It's our time to shine about how much we love and take pride in this community. We expect an influx of tourism, per se, in our community. So let's put our best foot forward for that. Also, I want to mention is that we have on the weekends, it's open to residents and non-residents, is at the Hype Athletics. We have it's more than just an indoor pool. It's actually a mini a water park, per se. And it's only $5. It's a good rate to take your kids to stay cool during this extreme heat that we're experiencing. We hadn't had this kind of heat in 30 years, quite frankly. So this weekend, I ask that everybody stay safe, keep an eye on your fellow neighbors and your pets as well. And with that, I will move on.
Okay, thank you very much. I would just like to say I hope everyone had a very safe and happy 4th of July. I was able to spend it up north at our cottage and really enjoyed it. And again, this weekend, as everyone has said, is our downtown days. They're very, very active, it's a nice way to let other people who live around here come and visit our city. And I know last year when I walked and talked to all the visitors, they all stressed how very accommodating and how pleasant the people were that lived here and worked here in the various establishments that they visited. So hopefully they'll have that same thought when they leave the city after the downtown days, and enjoy Steve King and the Diddleys. That's one of my favorite entertainers, and I must say thank you to Councilman Racy because he made sure that I was going to be here when they were going to be here because I missed him last time. So thank you for that. And I've also extended that invitation to several friends of mine who like Steve King and the Diddleys, so hopefully they're going to show up as well. And also, just remind everyone, August the 1st, Wednesday, is going to be the 3rd annual Family Day at William Beaumont Hospital. That runs from 2 to 6 p.m. And then also our Wayne Housing Rehabilitation Program. There's information regarding that program in the lobby. So if you need help with your home, please look into this program. It's being run through the Community Development Block Grant Funds. And also just everyone be safe this weekend. As everyone has said, check on elderly people that live around you to make sure that they're okay, and keep your pets inside if you can. And if you can't, make sure they have water and at least a shady area for them to stay in. And also, please remember, picking up the feces from your animals is very important, because if you don't pick it up, besides the rat issue, that will eventually seep down and it ends up flowing into the Rouge River. That is one of the critical items that the Rouge, Friends of the Rouge, stress. You have to pick up that fecal matter because it does eventually end up into our rivers and our streams. So please be responsible pet owners. Entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Support.
Moved by Councilman Webster, supported by Councilman Racy. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, gentlemen.